was uniquely professional. In my whole career, which is very long, I can honestly say that I have never seen a more professional person in front of a camera. And I want to tell you I just want to tell you one story, which is very different in tone than what most of you remember about Huell's stories. Because to me, when I had to introduce him to, in the times that I had introduced him when he would give a public speech, I always told this story. And it involved a show that I bet many of you don't remember called The Bench. Do you remember The Bench? Huell once took me out to lunch and said, I've got a great idea for a new show. I said, what's that? He says, well, Louie and I are going to park by a bench. Every town has a bench. That was it. That was just, I said, well, what happens? He says, well, people are going to come. They're going to be around the bench, and we'll just see what they have to say. I said, okay, let's do a pilot. So we did a pilot, and the pilot was at Echo Lake Park. Echo Park Lake. I'm dyslexic. And he's standing there, and there's nobody there, and along walks a woman, and Huell sticks the mic in front of her face, and he starts talking to her, and she spoke no English, and he spoke no Spanish. So, okay. He says, well, that kind of thing happens in L.A. So, you see where the mood of the show is going. He looks up, and he sees on a hillside, shaded hillside, a man in an undershirt sitting, reading something. So Huell bounds up there, this big hulk of a guy, and he starts, laying goodness on him. And this guy's not talking. This guy's not talking. And Huell, and this is why it was so professional. He immediately sees that this was a guy in crisis. And so he brought his tone down, and he started asking him, what's going on? And the guy said, how would you feel if you were 55 and you had 3 kids and you were out of work and you couldn't find enough money to feed your family? Whoa. I mean, that is a hard thing to do. He talked to the guy, and he got the guy starting to talk, and the guy started to become more animated, and then Huell gave him a little dose of it's going to be better, and he brought it back to reality, and then he went on and met with somebody else. That, to me, 1 in a million can do that while the camera's rolling and not have to edit. I'm always asked, I've been asked, actually, who's going to replace Huell? Well, the answer is nobody right now. But thanks to Huell's generosity and his foresight, he left his entire body of work to Chapman University for their archives so that they could digitize it, and so that generations in the future, yeah, that's worth a round of applause. Chapman is going to digitize it and make it available to people all around the world. So while I think there is nobody who is going to replace Huell right now, I have absolutely no doubt that given the number of imitations of Huell that have been done over the years, as our future generations study Huell and see the goodness and how he could bring the positive stories that are happening in California to the people of the world, I have no doubt that young people are going to pattern themselves after him, and we will have people in the future who will replace him. But nobody can replace him now. Thank you all for coming. Appreciate it. Bye-bye.